allow us to envision a nation where every rock, every tree, every peak, and indeed the very breeze, possesses an inherent spirit. Japan stands as a realm where nature has never merely served as a passive backdrop to human existence. Rather, it has consistently been an active, revered participant in shaping the destinies of its people. Within this discourse, we shall embark on an exploration of Japanese religion and its rich tapestry of mythology, a multifaceted system that harmoniously integrates the primal reverence for nature spirits, known as Shintoism, with the profound philosophical underpinnings of Buddhism and a vibrant corpus of folklore, replete with captivating narratives of deities and heroes. What distinguishes the religious and mythological landscape of Japan is, foremost, its remarkable capacity for harmonious coexistence. Japan has not experienced acrimonious schisms between its indigenous beliefs and the advent of new religious movements. Shintoism seamlessly integrated itself into the cultural fabric of Japan, while Buddhism, introduced from abroad, served to enrich this existing framework by offering profound insights into the fundamental questions of existence, mortality, and spiritual rebirth. However, Japanese mythology transcends mere tales of divine beings. It serves as a potent reflection of the Japanese psyche. It embodies a deep-seated respect for the natural world, a profound yearning for equilibrium, and a veneration for both the past and one's ancestral lineage. Each legend, each narrative, offers a vital key to understanding the Japanese people's profound commitment to preserving their heritage. When we delve into the era of ancient Japan, we unveil a world where nature occupied a pivotal position in the lives of every individual. In stark contrast to Western conceptions that often perceive nature as an entity to be subdued or a resource to be exploited, the Japanese viewed it as a living, sentient being imbued with spiritual vitality. This perception formed the bedrock of Japan's religious worldview, becoming an intrinsic element of their daily routines, cultural practices, and mythological narratives. The early inhabitants of the Japanese archipelago held a deep conviction that the world teemed with unseen spirits residing in every facet of nature. These ethereal beings, designated as kami, could be associated with ancient trees, flowing rivers, towering mountains, the omnipresent wind, or even inert stones. For the ancient Japanese, nature was not a peripheral element of their existence, but rather its very core. Their daily lives and every undertaking were intrinsically linked to its cyclical rhythms. Spring heralded the exquisite blossoming of cherry trees, symbolizing renewal and serving as a poignant reminder of life's transience. Autumn marked a period of communal gratitude to the kami for the bounty of the harvest. Each seasonal transition was accompanied by sacred rituals designed to express profound respect for the spirit of nature. Should the rains be delayed, offerings would be presented. If a drought threatened the sustenance of their crops, specific supplications were performed. It was through this intimate relationship with the natural world that Shintoism, now referred to as the Way of the Gods, organically emerged. In its nascent form, it was not a codified religion with rigid doctrines or commandments, but rather a way of life characterized by reverence for nature, the pursuit of harmony, and a keen awareness of humanity's interconnectedness with the surrounding world. The populace believed that a failure to adhere to these principles would invite calamitous events such as natural disasters, droughts, tempests, or widespread illness. Particular reverence was accorded to locations believed to be the abodes of kami. Imagine a venerable ancient oak, its branches extending so widely that the sun's rays struggle to penetrate its dense canopy. For the ancient Japanese, such a tree was considered the dwelling place of a powerful spirit, an entity to be treated with utmost sanctity. Mount Fuji, to this day, stands not merely as a breathtaking natural wonder, but as a sacred sanctuary, the dwelling of a potent kami. Yet nature was not exclusively benevolent. Storms and earthquakes were also attributed to the influence of kami, embodying forces of both creation and chaos. These elemental perceptions were intricately woven into their myths. The creation epic, detailing the divine couple Izanagi and Izanami's role in shaping the Japanese archipelago, commences with their lowering of a sacred spear into the primeval ocean. Drops of water cascading from its tip coalesced, giving rise to the very land itself. Is this not a poetic conception of the islands as a divine gift, with nature serving as the embodiment of their creators? Even with the eventual introduction of Buddhism, this profound respect for nature persisted, being assimilated into the philosophical tenets of this new faith, thereby imbuing it with greater depth and resonance with the Japanese worldview. Thus, a unique culture blossomed, one where harmonious coexistence with nature became the paramount principle of existence. Ancient Japan imparted the understanding that nature is far more than what meets the eye. It is alive, it breathes, and humanity itself is but a minuscule part of its grand design. This fundamental tenet became the bedrock upon which the entirety of Japanese religion and mythology was constructed. We've already glimpsed the profound depth of the ancient Japanese connection with nature. But how precisely did these sentiments crystallize into what we recognize today as Shintoism? Shintoism represents a singular spiritual tradition, one that defies easy categorization into strict dogma or rigid rules. Its origins are deeply rooted in nature itself, and its essence lies in the pursuit of harmony. The very term Shinto translates to the way of the gods, or the way of the spirits, signifying a profound reverence for the natural spirits known as kami. But who precisely are these kami, and why do they occupy such a preeminent position in the Japanese spiritual consciousness? Kami are essentially spirits, or entities that permeate all aspects of the surrounding world. They cannot be confined by rigid definitions or simply equated with deities in a conventional sense. They are at once simple and profoundly mysterious. Kami can inhabit majestic mountains, murmur through flowing rivers, or even manifest in human phenomena and everyday objects. For instance, an ancient sword, wielded by a legendary warrior, might be so revered that it becomes an embodiment of kami. This deeply respectful disposition towards the world renders Shintoism uniquely distinct. Furthermore, these natural essences are not merely passive inhabitants of the landscape. They interact intimately with human life, offering protection from calamities. Kami can be benevolent, assisting those who show them deference, but they are also capable of displeasure and retribution if neglected. Consequently, interactions with kami are invariably accompanied by rituals, prayers, and offerings. A well-known illustrative narrative involves a humble peasant who diligently strove to provide for his family. One day, while by the river, he encountered an elderly spirit seated at the base of a waterfall. This stone appeared melancholic, its matted hair disheveled. The peasant, undeterred by fear, offered his assistance. In his gratitude for the peasant's kindness, the waterfall, Kami replenished the peasant's water jug with gold coins, cautioning him never to return with selfish intentions. The peasant departed with profound thanks, and his family subsequently prospered. However, a year later, word of the gold coins reached his covetous neighbor. This neighbor approached the waterfall, feigning reverence, but instead of offering aid, he aggressively demanded riches. On this occasion, the kami revealed its stern aspect. The neighbor returned home only to discover his dwelling reduced to ruins. All his possessions vanished. This tale powerfully underscores a core principle. Kami honor sincerity and kindness, but will punish arrogance and greed. In this manner, the Japanese perception of harmony and respect for all living things is not solely embodied by nature spirits or ancestors. It is through the kami that the Japanese apprehend the interconnectedness between themselves, the natural world, and the awe-inspiring, unpredictable forces that shape existence. When discussing Shintoism, one cannot overlook its tangible manifestations, those elements that render this spiritual path perceptible and palpable. Shintoism, despite its potential to seem esoteric, possesses an inherent simplicity and clarity that captivates the observer. Every temple, every meticulously crafted detail is an integral component of a spiritual journey, facilitating a profound sense of closeness to both nature and the kami. Let us now examine the foundational elements of Shintoism. Central to any Shinto shrine are the torii, the iconic gates that seem to announce, "Halt, you are entering a sacred space." Passing through these gateways signifies more than a mere physical progression. It marks a transition from the mundane realm into an arena inhabited by kami. These gates serve as demarcation lines between two distinct realities, our human world and the spiritual domain. Torii vary in their construction, appearing in vibrant hues of red, crafted from wood or stone, and ranging in size from imposing structures to diminutive portals. Their forms are simple, yet they encapsulate profound meaning. The color red, for instance, symbolizes purification and protection against malevolent forces, suggesting that only those prepared to honor the sacred may traverse these thresholds. One of the most breathtaking examples is found at the Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto, where thousands of torii are arranged in elongated corridors that meander through the hills. As one walks along these pathways, it feels akin to passing through a portal, leading ever deeper into the world of the kami. This journey is not merely a perambulation, but a genuine spiritual pilgrimage, where each step draws one closer to something transcendent. Upon traversing the torii, one enters the jinja, the sanctuary where kami reside. Yet, a jinja is not merely an edifice, it is a living entity, seamlessly integrated with its natural surroundings. These sanctuaries are almost invariably situated in locations that possess an intrinsic aura of significance, whether nestled within dense forests, perched atop mountain summits, or nestled beside tranquil rivers. Shinto temples do not seek to dominate the landscape. Rather, they harmoniously blend with the encompassing environment. The primary objective is to ensure that the kami feel at ease, for as spirits of nature, they naturally prefer their accustomed environs, be it a tree, a rock, or a mountain. Within the sanctuary, two principal zones are discernible. The honden serves as the heart of the temple, typically housing a symbol of the kami. This symbol, invisible to visitors, might take the form of a mirror, a stone, or a sword, concealed behind doors that encapsulate the kami's power. The haiden, conversely, is the designated space for prayer, offerings, and communion with the kami. Simplicity characterizes this area, where one might deposit a coin, bow, and clap their hands to attract the kami's attention. Each temple possesses its unique attributes. The Ise Grand Shrine, dedicated to Amaterasu, the sun goddess, undergoes complete reconstruction every 20 years, a practice symbolizing renewal. A temple is not solely a dwelling for kami, but also a venue for sacred rites, hosting festivals, purification ceremonies, weddings, and other significant life events. People frequent jinja to seek the kami's protection, healing, or good fortune. However, merely entering the temple is insufficient. Prior to approaching the kami, one must demonstrate their reverence through a specific ritual of purification. Every temple features a basin area known as the temizuya, typically a stone or wooden structure containing water and an array of wooden ladles. As one approaches the kami, an extraordinary transformation occurs. This ritual, though simple, is imbued with such profound symbolism that it immediately prepares one's body and spirit for an encounter with the sacred. The process unfolds as follows. One takes a ladle, fills it with water, and pours some onto one hand, experiencing the cleansing sensation of the water as it washes away impurities, symbolizing the purification of one's actions. The same is repeated with the other hand, emphasizing the need for purity and respect in all endeavors. Next, a small quantity of water is taken into the palm and gently rinsed in the mouth, signifying not mere hygiene, but the purification of one's words, ensuring that prayers are offered with genuine sincerity. The ladle is then rinsed and returned to its place. Even this final step holds significance, demonstrating consideration for those who will follow. Following this ritual, one experiences a profound sense of cleanness in their hands, mouth, and most importantly, their mind, signifying readiness to enter the realm of the kami. The tori, the jinja, and the purification ritual are more than mere ceremonial practices. They are expressions of profound respect for the underlying simplicity and harmony that define Shintoism. The present moment, the here and now, becomes paramount. As you pass through the torii, you leave your worldly concerns behind. By cleansing your hands and mouth, you open yourself to something greater. Entering the jinja, you become an integral part of a 1,000-year-old tradition that teaches not through complex pronouncements or grand structures, but through action. It communicates a vital message. You are a part of this world. Honor it, interact with it, and live in accord with it. Having thoroughly examined the core elements of this worldview, it becomes evident that Shintoism extends beyond mere temples and rituals. It is a living tradition whose profound depth is revealed in its festivals and ceremonies, where the veneration of kami intertwines with the natural cycles, familial bonds, and the rhythm of daily life. Let us delve deeper into these remarkable traditions. Matsuri, or festivals, are celebrations of life, expressions of gratitude to the kami for their protection and assistance. Whether held in autumn to commemorate the harvest, or during the summer to seek protection from typhoons, these occasions galvanize entire communities, imbuing the surroundings with a palpable sense of special energy. Picture streets adorned with luminous lanterns, the resonant sounds of drums and flutes filling the air, and throngs of people, attired in traditional garments called yukata, participating in the festivities. Central to these celebrations is the mikoshi, a portable shrine that temporarily houses a kami. The mikoshi is carried aloft on the shoulders of men and women, with the entire community rhythmically chanting in unison. This is not merely a symbolic procession. It is believed that through this act, the kami traverses their domain, bestowing blessings upon the people. A particularly striking example is the Gion Matsuri in Kyoto, held during the summer to safeguard the city from diseases and epidemics. Enormous, elaborately decorated floats, known as yamaboko, are paraded through the streets, while attendees revel in performances and street food. Matsuri serves not only as a celebration for humans, but also as a recognition of the earth's bounty. Every dance, every melody, every gesture performed during Matsuri conveys a message to the kami, an expression of profound respect and heartfelt gratitude. While Matsuri is oriented towards nature and the kami, Obon is dedicated to the veneration of ancestors. This is one of Japan's most poignant holidays, a time when ancestral spirits are believed to descend to the world of the living to reunite with their families. The observance begins with family preparations. Ancestral graves are meticulously cleaned and adorned with flowers. Incense is burned in homes, and altars are set up with offerings of rice, fruits, tea, and sometimes the favorite dishes of the departed. All these acts are performed to convey to the ancestors that they are remembered and deeply cherished. The Obon festivities commence with the lighting of lanterns, intended to guide the souls back to their homes. Candles are also placed within households and along streets. Occasionally, processions featuring these lanterns can be witnessed, creating an enchanting atmosphere of light and warmth, as if every corner is illuminated with care and affection. A central element of the holiday is the Bon Odori dance, a simple yet profoundly meaningful communal dance performed in a circle, guided by the rhythmic beat of the taiko drum. The movements of the arms and legs symbolize the joy of reuniting with ancestors. Even those with no prior dancing experience readily join in, as Obon is a celebration for everyone. During the concluding days of Obon, the ancestral spirits are bid farewell as they return to the spiritual realm. Small paper lanterns, or toro nagashi, are floated down rivers. Imagine dark waters illuminated by hundreds of lights, gently carrying away the memories of cherished loved ones. This is an incredibly moving and beautiful tradition, serving as a poignant reminder that although our ancestors may no longer be with us in person, the connection endures. These holidays and rituals of Shintoism offer invaluable insights into how the Japanese interact with the world, express gratitude to the kami, and honor their forebears. To truly grasp the essence of this religion, however, one must journey back to its very origins, to its myths. These narratives not only elucidate the structure of the cosmos, but also illuminate the profound connection between the kami and human existence, between nature and destiny. Let us delve deeper into the foundational cosmology. According to Shinto cosmology, the world originated from a state of chaos, a formless void devoid of earth, sky, oceans, or mountains, existing only as an endless mist within which the first deities began to emerge. These deities did not actively participate in the process of creation. They merely observed as order gradually coalesced. Among them appeared Izanagi, the male deity, and Izanami, the female deity, the primordial divine couple, entrusted with the monumental task of shaping the earth. To facilitate this endeavor, they were bestowed with a sacred spear, exquisitely adorned with precious stones, known as the Ame no Nuboko. Ascending the Ame no Ukihashi, the heavenly floating bridge, and positioned above the primeval ocean, they lowered the spear into the water. As they withdrew it, drops of water from its tip fell, solidifying to form the first island, Onogoro. Upon descending to this newly formed island, Izanagi and Izanami resolved to continue their creative work. To illuminate the world, they performed a marriage ceremony. However, their initial attempt proved unsuccessful. Their first offspring were misshapen and devoid of life. The cause of this failure was attributed to a transgression of the ritual protocol. Izanami, rather than Izanagi, spoke first, contrary to the prescribed order. Recognizing their error, they repeated the ceremony. And this time, the outcome was auspicious, leading to the formation of the remaining Japanese islands. Following the creation of the land, Izanagi and Izanami embarked on the creation of numerous deities who personified the elements of nature, including gods of the wind, mountains, rivers, and trees. Each of these divine beings became integral to the world, contributing to its development and sustenance. Yet, a tragic event transpired during childbirth. Izanami sustained fatal burns and, unable to endure the pain, perished. Her death marked the first tragic occurrence in the mythological narrative, as until that point, the world had been characterized solely by creation. Izanami descended into Yomi, the underworld, a realm of shadows and darkness. Izanagi, consumed by grief, attempted to persuade her to return. Upon reaching Yomi, Izanagi found Izanami in a dark and somber place. She warned him, "You must not look upon me until I give you permission to return to the world of the living." However, Izanagi, unable to resist his longing, lit a torch to behold his beloved. What he witnessed horrified him. Izanami's body was disfigured by decomposition, swarming with maggots. Angered by his transgression of her command, Izanami transformed into the goddess of the underworld and vowed to pursue him. Izanagi fled, and Izanami dispatched demons in pursuit. Barely managing to escape, Izanagi sealed the entrance to the underworld with a massive stone, thereby severing the connection between the world of the living and the realm of death. Izanami remained in Yomi, becoming the goddess of death, while Izanagi returned to the world of the living, seeking to cleanse himself of the defilement. Upon his return to the riverbank, Izanagi felt that the darkness and death of Yomi had permeated his being. To cleanse himself of this impurity, he performed a ritual of purification by washing himself in the river. During this act of ablution, new deities emerged from his body. Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, was born from his left eye. Tsukuyomi, the god of the moon, from his right eye. And Susanu, the god of storms and chaos, from his nose. These deities subsequently became central figures in the Japanese mythology, representing the eternal struggle between order and chaos, light and darkness. Following the world's creation and the emergence of the gods, Japanese mythology increasingly focused on the intricate relationships between the kami, their distinct personalities, and their actions. Among them, Amaterasu, the sun goddess, whose radiance served as the origin of light for all living entities. Her narrative transcends the mere personification of light and life. It unfolds as a profound legend, delineating the intricate relationships among the kami, which are intrinsically linked to Japan's imperial lineage. Amaterasu emerged from Izanagi's left eye as he cleansed himself after his sojourn in the realm of the dead. Her arrival is believed to have heralded the dawn, marking the inception of a new era. In the freshly formed world, Amaterasu assumed dominion over the heavens, embodying warmth and vitality. Her name translates to the one who shines in the heavens, and her role was paramount within the entire pantheon of Japanese deities. Like Susanoo, she was not exempt from conflict. A celebrated and dramatic episode in Japanese mythology centers on Amaterasu's withdrawal into a cave, plunging the world into darkness. Susanoo, Amaterasu's younger brother, was characterized by his tempestuous nature. His association with storms and upheaval rendered him unpredictable. Following his expulsion from the heavens due to his insolence, Susanoo resolved to bid farewell to his sister. However, instead of a peaceful parting, he instigated utter pandemonium. In his fury, he breached her celestial palace, decimated the rice paddies, and desecrated sacred precincts. His most egregious act involved hurling a dead horse into the sacred hall where the weavers toiled. This transgression not only destroyed a loom, but also incited panic, resulting in the death of one of the weavers. This event proved to be the breaking point for Amaterasu. Insulted and terrified, Amaterasu retreated into a cavern, subsequently known as the Heavenly Cave. Without her luminescence, the world descended into shadow, and the fields ceased to flourish. The kami grew apprehensive that this obscurity might obliterate the sun they had created. The deities convened a council to devise a strategy for coaxing her from her seclusion. They concluded that the sole method of restoring light was through the generation of clamor and merriment that would capture her attention. The central figure in this endeavor was Uzume, who commenced an eccentric dance. Uzume shed some of her garments, executed comical movements, and emitted boisterous laughter, captivating the attention of all the kami who joined in the mirth and noise. Concurrently, other deities prepared a mirror for her, adorned with sakura branches and jewels. Upon beholding her own radiant visage, which she had not witnessed for an extended period, the goddess was captivated, compelling her to emerge. The instant Amaterasu exited the cave, the world was once again bathed in light. The kami swiftly barricaded the entrance to prevent her return. Darkness receded, and life on earth resumed. She is historically regarded as the progenitor of the Japanese emperors. This connection underscores the divine heritage of the ruling dynasty and its pivotal position in the nation's affairs. Amaterasu bestowed her authority upon her grandson, Ninigi no Mikoto, dispatching him to the earthly realm to serve as the inaugural ruler. Accompanying him, she presented the three sacred treasures, the mirror Yata no Kagami, symbolizing truth and purity, the sword Kusanagi, representing strength and protection, and the jewels Yasakani no Magatama, signifying prosperity and harmony. Ninigi became the progenitor of the imperial dynasty, and the first Japanese emperor, Emperor Jimmu, is considered his descendant. Consequently, Japanese emperors are traditionally viewed as descendants of the gods, signifying their unique bond with the heavens and the kami. The narrative of Amaterasu is more than mere myth. It conveys the power of light, truth, and harmony to overcome chaos. Her isolation in the cave illustrates how discord and disrespect can lead to darkness, whereas United effort, joy, and communal action can pave the way to peace. It was through the collective endeavors of all the kami that light was restored to the world, and Amaterasu's role as the imperial ancestor highlights her fundamental importance to Japanese identity and culture. Now, with an understanding of the sun goddess's role and her connection to the Japanese imperial line, let us continue to explore Japanese mythology, learning more about other kami and their respective legends. Following the account of the wise, radiant, and noble Amaterasu, our attention now shifts to her younger brother, Susanoo, the god of storms and chaos. If Amaterasu embodies light, order, and harmony, Susanoo represents the untamed, uncontrollable force of nature. His character is a perpetual paradox. He could be destructive, yet simultaneously heroic and noble. His saga is replete with battles and exploits, most notably his triumph over the colossal serpent Yamata no Orochi. From the outset, he displayed an explosive temperament, making him a figure who inspired both awe and apprehension. Susanoo was known for his violent disposition. When he resolved to depart heaven, as we know, his conflict with Amaterasu escalated to its zenith when he destroyed her rice fields and hurled a dead horse into her palace, thereby plunging the world into darkness. His conduct was the catalyst for his expulsion from heaven. But his banishment was not the conclusion of his story. In this realm, he proved himself to be not merely a destroyer, but also a hero. Following his expulsion, Susanoo found himself on Earth in the province of Izumo. There, he encountered an elderly couple, weeping inconsolably. Susanoo inquired about the cause of their sorrow, and the old man recounted their plight. Each year, a monstrous serpent with 8 heads and 8 tails, known as Yamata no Orochi, descended upon their village to claim one of their daughters. This serpent was of such immense size that its body stretched across 8 valleys and 8 mountain ranges, and its eyes blazed like embers. The elderly couple had 8 daughters, but 7 had already been devoured by the serpent. Only one, the beautiful Kushinadaheim, remained, and she too was to be offered to the monster. Susanoo offered his assistance, promising to vanquish the serpent, but in return, he requested Kushinadaheim's hand in marriage. The old couple gladly assented. Susanoo then began preparations for battle, devising a cunning strategy. Together with the villagers, he prepared 8 large vats of sake, so potent that its aroma alone was capable of intoxicating. These vats were then positioned in the places the serpent frequented. Upon Yamata no Orochi's arrival, its 8 heads simultaneously extended to drink from the vats, becoming so inebriated that they were immobilized. Seizing this opportunity, Susanoo felled it with a single strike of his sword. While dismembering the serpent's body, he discovered a sacred sword within one of its tails, which later became known as Kusanagi. This sword became one of the imperial regalia of Japan, symbolizing power and protection. The Kusanagi sword was passed down through generations. It is believed to reside in the Atsuta Shrine in Nagoya, though it is never displayed to the public. This practice highlights the reverence surrounding this sacred artifact. Susanoo claimed the sword from the serpent's tail as a trophy and a testament to his victory. He presented this sword as a gift to his sister, Amaterasu, as a gesture of reconciliation and acknowledgement of her superiority, following their dispute that led to his celestial exile. In turn, Amaterasu kept the sword as a symbol of divine authority and safeguarding. Susanoo remains one of the most contentious yet beloved figures in Japanese mythology. His persona is frequently depicted in art, literature, and even contemporary culture as an emblem of strength and valor. Despite his chaotic and destructive capabilities, his power can be harnessed for good. Now, by understanding Susanoo's exploits, we can gain a deeper insight into how Japanese mythology interprets the struggle between disorder and order. The subsequent myths will further illuminate the kami and their roles in the world, following the compelling narrative of Susanoo, the god of storms and chaos. Let us now turn our focus to another pivotal figure in Japanese mythology, Tsukuyomi, the god of the moon. Tsukuyomi embodies the night, tranquility, and mystery. In stark contrast to the luminous and active Amaterasu and the volatile Susanoo, Tsukuyomi appears more reserved, yet his character is also rife with paradoxes. His tales are less numerous than those of other kami, but their symbolic weight and influence on mythology and Japanese culture are significant. Tsukuyomi was born from a purification ritual when Izanagi, upon his return from the underworld, washed himself to cleanse himself of the defilement. From his right eye, Tsukuyomi emerged, destined to govern the moon and the nocturnal sky. The name Tsukuyomi translates to one who contemplates the moon, or one who watches the moon, a designation that speaks to his serene and focused demeanor. Tsukuyomi was not associated with storms or fire like his brother Susanoo, nor did he bestow radiance and life like Amaterasu. He represented the night, peace, and enigma. Alongside Amaterasu, he symbolized the equilibrium between day and night, light and darkness. The most renowned legend of Tsukuyomi recounts his encounter with Ukemochi, the goddess of food. This myth marked a turning point, irrevocably altering his relationship with Amaterasu. When Amaterasu requested Tsukuyomi to visit Ukemochi, she aimed to express gratitude for Ukemochi's ability to provide sustenance for both gods and humans. Ukemochi possessed the miraculous power to generate food from her own body. To demonstrate her abilities, she began to prepare a feast. However, her methods were such that they could shock the unprepared observer. She exhaled from various parts of her body to create the food. For Ukemochi, this was an act of generosity and a display of her magic. But for Tsukuyomi, these actions seemed utterly repulsive. His ingrained sense of order and cleanliness recoiled from such acts. Upon learning of Ukemochi's demise, Amaterasu was so incensed that she renounced all ties with Tsukuyomi. She declared that she would never see him again, and from that moment forward, day and night existed separately, which is why the sun and moon never appear in the sky simultaneously. This myth reveals two significant traits of Tsukuyomi: his stringent morality and his profound sense of cleanliness. Tsukuyomi could not condone Ukemochi's actions, deeming them indecent. He acts as a guardian of order, but his severe reaction resulted in calamitous consequences. The second trait is his inability to grasp deeper meanings. Tsukuyomi perceived only the superficial aspects of events and failed to appreciate the generosity and magic underlying Ukemochi's actions. The separation of the sun and moon, precipitated by this conflict, symbolizes the inherent impossibility of complete harmony between the diverse forces of nature. Even deities personifying order can engage in conflict, leading to transformations in the natural order. The moon in Japan has always been associated with beauty, silence, and contemplation, qualities that mirror Tsukuyomi's character. The Tsukimi Festival, or moon viewing, is an ancient tradition where people gather to admire the full moon, sing songs, and compose poetry. This celebration reflects Tsukuyomi's connection to aesthetics and introspection. The grand deities of Japanese mythology and their impact on the world call for a transition to another significant chapter in Japan's history, the advent of Buddhism. This period marked a pivotal turning point, as the Japanese people embraced a new religion introduced from abroad, skillfully integrating it into their existing traditions. Let us explore how Buddhism arrived in Japan, how it reshaped Shintoism, and the roles these two religions play in the lives of the Japanese people. Buddhism made its appearance in Japan during the 6th century, arriving as a form of gift from neighboring Korean kingdoms. This event not only altered Japan's spiritual landscape, but also influenced its culture, art, and philosophy. Buddhism was introduced to Japan in the year 538, when the king of Baekje, a Korean state, presented the Japanese court with a statue of the Buddha and Buddhist scriptures, accompanied by a letter declaring Buddhism to be a great religion that would usher in peace and prosperity. Initially, Buddhism was met with a degree of caution. The Japanese already adhered to their own traditional beliefs, Shinto, and the emergence of a new religion sparked debate among the aristocracy. Some perceived Buddhism as a threat to their customs, while others viewed it as an opportunity to strengthen cultural and political ties with the continent. The true impetus for Buddhism's proliferation in Japan was provided by Prince Shotoku Taishi, who lived in the late 6th and early 7th centuries. He became a foremost patron of this faith, actively supporting the construction of temples, the translation of Buddhist texts, and the propagation of Buddhist teachings. It was largely due to Prince Shotoku Taishi that Buddhism began to be regarded not merely as foreign influence, but as a means of reinforcing spiritual and political order. The Japanese never viewed Buddhism as an absolute replacement for their established traditions. Instead, they discovered a method for integrating it into their cultural and religious fabric. This process of adaptation differed from its adoption in India and China. Shinto, as we know, was centered on life, nature, and the kami. Buddhism, with its doctrines of reincarnation, karma, and liberation from suffering, offered answers to questions concerning death and the afterlife. The Japanese did not oppose these beliefs, but found a way to harmonize them. For instance, Shinto is associated with birth and life. People turn to the kami for blessings during weddings, the birth of children, or in their daily lives. Buddhism, conversely, is linked to death and rebirth, playing a key role in funerals, wakes, and prayers for the departed souls. This division of spiritual domains facilitated the peaceful coexistence and mutual enrichment of the two religions. Another illustration of this adaptation is the cohabitation of Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines. In some locales, they are situated side by side, and occasionally even within the same complex. For example, during the Nara period in the 6th century, temples dedicated to both religions were frequently erected. The harmony between Buddhism and Shintoism stands as one of the distinctive hallmarks of Japanese culture. It demonstrates how even disparate religions can coexist, complementing one another. This serves as an example of how respect and an openness to novel ideas can enrich society. The introduction of Buddhism to Japan did not precipitate conflict. Rather, it opened new avenues for the nation's spiritual development. Now, having understood how these two religions coexist, let us delve into their symbolism and their influence on society. Over time, Buddhism began to evolve into several distinct schools, each leaving its unique imprint on Japanese culture. One of the most influential schools to manifest prominently in Japan was Zen Buddhism. Its philosophy, practices, and impact on art continue to inspire both the Japanese people and the global community. Zen Buddhism originated in China as Chan and was introduced to Japan in the 7th century. The primary emphasis in Zen lies in the direct experiential understanding of reality achieved through meditation. It is a school that strives for simplicity, inner awareness, and harmony with the world. At the core of Zen Buddhism is the practice of zazen, or seated meditation. However, this is more than mere silent sitting. Zazen is a method for clearing the mind of extraneous thoughts, emotions, and the ego. In the process of meditation, practitioners aim to perceive their true nature and attain satori, a sudden moment of insight that reveals profound understanding of the world. Zazen meditation does not necessitate elaborate rituals or extensive textual study. All that is required is quietude, focus on the breath, and a willingness to relinquish all that is superfluous. This approach made Zen particularly appealing to individuals seeking simplicity and a direct path to truth. Zen philosophy found a vibrant expression in Japanese art. Zen Buddhism teaches that beauty resides in simplicity, silence, and natural harmony. This principle forms the bedrock of many of Japan's artistic and cultural traditions. One of the most celebrated manifestations of Zen in art is the rock garden, or kare-san-sui, which are minimalist landscapes composed of gravel, stones, and moss. Each element of the garden embodies Zen philosophy. Every stone and line of gravel possesses its designated place and significance, while gravel, rendered in wavy patterns, symbolizes water or movement. The Ryoan-ji Temple Rock Garden in Kyoto is among the most renowned examples of this art form. This garden features 15 stones, strategically placed so that from any vantage point, only 14 are perpetually visible. This subtlety symbolizes the concept that a complete comprehension of the world invariably transcends human perception. Rock gardens are not merely aesthetic creations. The very act of tending to such a garden is a Zen practice, where each stone and line of gravel contributes to achieving harmony. Another significant contribution of Zen to Japanese culture was the tea ceremony, or chado. The Japanese tea ceremony is not simply the preparation and consumption of tea. It is a ritual in which every detail holds profound meaning. A simple cup of tea becomes a vehicle for cultivating a moment of tranquility, harmony, and connection with the present. The principles of Zen permeate every facet of the ceremony. The uncluttered simplicity of the tea room, adorned minimally to ensure nothing detracts from the present moment. The mindful concentration on the tea-making process, including heating the water, whisking the powdered matcha, and the guest's reception of the cup, and the awareness of the ephemeral nature of each tea ceremony, as it will never be replicated in precisely the same manner. These rituals not only instill an appreciation for simple things, but also serve as a reminder of the value of each passing moment. Zen Buddhism imparted to the Japanese the ability to discover harmony in the mundane. It is not merely a philosophy or a religion, but a way of life that helps individuals connect more deeply with nature themselves and the present. Through the principles of architecture, culinary arts, calligraphy, and martial arts, Zen teaches us to perceive the world not through eyes clouded by expectation, but with an open heart, capable of appreciating the beauty found in silence, emptiness, and transience. This is a lesson that remains pertinent today, inspiring individuals worldwide. Now that we have familiarized ourselves with the fundamental principles of Zen Buddhism and Japanese art, let us proceed to the next segment to explore other facets of Buddhist culture in Japan. Continuing our exploration of the major schools of Buddhism in Japan, let us now examine Jodo Shu, or the Pure Land teaching. This doctrine originated in India and is characterized by its accessibility and simplicity, making it one of the most favored forms of Buddhism among the general populace. At the heart of its teachings lies the belief in Buddha Amitabha, who offers a path to salvation that does not necessitate complex rituals or profound meditation. Buddha Amitabha, known as Buddha Amida in the Japanese tradition, is a deity personifying infinite compassion and wisdom. It is believed that he resides in the Pure Land, an idyllic realm free from suffering, where souls can attain enlightenment. The legend states that Amitabha was once a bodhisattva. The term bodhisattva originates from Sanskrit and translates to one who strives for enlightenment. However, this is more than simply a person on the path to awakening. A bodhisattva is one who forgoes complete enlightenment to aid other beings in overcoming suffering and achieving liberation. Unlike Zen Buddhism, which demands extensive meditation and introspection, the teachings of the Pure Land offer a more straightforward path. All that is required is a sincere faith in Buddha Amitabha and the recitation of his name, known as the Nembutsu. The Nembutsu consists of repeatedly uttering the phrase Namu Amida Butsu, which signifies reverence for Buddha Amitabha. This practice does not require specific conditions or complex rituals. It can be performed anywhere and at any time. The belief that Buddha Amitabha will heed one's invocation is sufficient to receive his grace. This simplicity contributed to the popularity of Jodo Shu among peasants, merchants, and individuals who lacked the opportunity to dedicate significant time to intricate Buddhist practices. The Jodo Shu school was established in the 6th century by a monk named Honen. Honen sought a way to make Buddhism accessible to everyone, irrespective of their education or social standing. He concluded that salvation was attainable for every individual through sincere belief in the mercy of Buddha Amitabha. The teachings of Khan gained swift traction as they resonated with individuals feeling estranged from the intricate rituals and abstract doctrines of conventional Buddhism. The very notion of a pristine realm evolved into a beacon of solace and optimism. It represented not merely a celestial dominion, but a sanctuary where the spirit could discover tranquility and the opportunity for spiritual awakening. This was particularly potent amidst challenging circumstances, where people grappled with sickness and hardship. The belief in such a pure land provided them with the fortitude to navigate their adversities. While the path to spiritual liberation is straightforward, the Jew school incorporates symbolic elements designed to bolster faith and cultivate an aura of reverence. These include depictions of Buddha Amida in a serene, meditative posture, with hands clasped in a gesture of benediction, and prayer beads known as dzu, employed to reiterate the mantra Nem Bu for focused spiritual practice. Additionally, communal chanting and collective prayers serve to unify adherents in shared conviction and foster a sense of collective identity. Even today, the doctrine of the Pure Land remains a prominent expression of Buddhism within Japan, underscoring the principle that the spiritual journey can be uncomplicated and that sincerity and devotion are paramount. This particular school imparts the understanding that even in a world beset by suffering, there invariably exists space for hope and benevolence. Having explored the Jodo Shu school and its significance, we can now proceed to delve into other facets of Buddhism in Japan. Our next chapter will meticulously examine one of Buddhism's most influential philosophies, deeply interwoven with Japanese cultural identity and worldview: the concept of karma and reincarnation. This segment transcends mere religious discourse, exploring how these ideas permeate daily existence, artistic expression, and even the fundamental thought processes of the Japanese people. Life, much like a flowing river, where every ripple initiated by a tossed stone radiates outwards far beyond our immediate perception, perfectly encapsulates the Japanese perspective on karma and rebirth. They view these not as rigid dictates or unwavering dogma, but as a dynamic tapestry binding our every action to the surrounding world. From a Japanese viewpoint, karma is an intangible imprint left by all our deeds, thoughts, and utterances. However, this is not a stark, punitive doctrine predicting retribution for transgressions. Instead, karma in Japanese life serves as a constant reminder that every action, no matter how minor, carries consequences. Envision your morning greeting, a simple smile extended to a neighbor en route to work. For you, it was a fleeting gesture, yet for them, it might have been a ray of sunshine on a trying day. Conversely, a careless, offensive remark, quickly forgotten by the speaker, could occupy the recipient's thoughts throughout their entire day. Karma manifests within Japanese culture through these subtle interactions that collectively shape our environment. Now, consider life not as a linear progression from birth to death, but as an unending continuum where each of our actions molds not only the present but also the future. This is the essence of the Japanese interpretation of rebirth. In this framework, death is not a conclusion, but a transition to a new state, a concept known as the cycle of samsara. This perspective imbues life with profound meaning, assuring us that our actions do not simply vanish into oblivion. It is akin to planting a tree. You may never witness its full bloom, but future generations will undoubtedly benefit from its shade and fruit. The belief in reincarnation instills a sense of accountability in the Japanese people, extending beyond their individual selves to encompass responsibility for those who will follow. These ideas are not abstract philosophical musings confined to written texts. They are palpable in the daily conduct of the Japanese. Should you have visited Japan, you would likely have observed the meticulous attention people pay to small courtesies, a subtle bow, an apology offered even for the slightest accidental contact in a crowd. This reflects an awareness of karma, recognizing that by honoring others, we cultivate harmony that ultimately returns to us. What about life's challenges? Within Japanese culture, adversities are viewed as opportunities for learning. Perhaps they are the repercussions of karma from a previous existence, yet this does not necessitate resignation. Rather, it presents a chance for self-improvement. rectifying past errors, and discovering the inner strength to persevere. The lotus flower has emerged as a potent symbol of karma. This remarkable blossom emerges from the earth, yet its petals remain pristine, a testament to the possibility of retaining purity and kindness, even when navigating arduous circumstances. The belief in karma and reincarnation teaches us that we do not exist in isolation. Our actions hold significance, and this principle guides not just philosophy, but an entire way of life, contributing to a better world. If each individual cultivates positivity in their surroundings, the world itself becomes incrementally brighter. Buddhism offers not only a framework for conscious living and the attainment of inner peace, but also an extraordinary realm of legends that convey its profound messages. These narratives vividly embody the ideals of compassion, empathy, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Today, we will explore two pivotal figures in Buddhism: Buddha, the progenitor of this teaching, and Buddha Amida, whose boundless compassion has inspired countless individuals. The narrative of Buddha Siddhartha Gautama is an epic journey of seeking life's purpose, ignited by a fundamental question: why does so much suffering pervade the world? Born over 2,500 years ago into a royal lineage in what is now Nepal, Buddha Gautama's mother, Queen Maya, reportedly experienced a dream on the night preceding his birth, envisioning a white elephant entering her side. This was interpreted as an auspicious sign, portending that her son would either become a great ruler or a preeminent spiritual guide. Legend holds that Siddhartha was born in the Lumbini Gardens beneath a sal tree, and upon his arrival, he is said to have taken 7 steps, with lotuses blooming beneath each footfall, signifying his extraordinary destiny. As a prince, Siddhartha luxuriated in unparalleled opulence, his father intent on shielding him from any form of distress by surrounding him with beauty, comfort, and celebratory events. Yet, despite these measures, the prince sensed an underlying incompleteness. His encounters with an elderly man, symbolizing the inevitability of aging, then a sickly individual, highlighting the pervasiveness of suffering, followed by a corpse, underscoring the finality of death, and finally, an ascetic, representing the quest for truth, profoundly impacted him. These encounters shattered his complacency, leading him to the realization that neither wealth nor power could offer protection from life's inherent suffering. Consequently, Siddhartha renounced his royal life, his family, and his privileged existence in pursuit of an answer to the paramount question: how does one transcend suffering? Years of ascetic practices and deep meditation yielded no definitive answers until he settled beneath the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. There, he confronted Mara, a demonic entity who attempted to derail his quest through fears, temptations, and doubts. However, Siddhartha persevered through all trials, achieving enlightenment at dawn, thereby comprehending the fundamental nature of existence. All phenomena are interconnected within an eternal cycle, and liberation is attainable through profound understanding. He became Buddha, the enlightened one, and began disseminating his teachings, which subsequently transformed the lives of millions. While Siddhartha Gautama exemplified the quest for truth, Buddha Amida offered hope for salvation to those in despair. Even before attaining Buddhahood, when he was a bodhisattva, he vowed to establish the Pure Land. Amida pledged that anyone who sincerely invoked his name, even just once in their lifetime, would be welcomed into this realm and find eternal peace. His 48 vows form the bedrock of the Pure Land school, with his vow of compassion being the most significant. Amida vowed to deliver all who turn to him, and through the Pure Land he created, he established a sanctuary where souls could achieve enlightenment unhindered by obstacles. The Pure Land is not merely a conventional paradise. It is a plane where souls can dedicate themselves to spiritual advancement, free from all forms of affliction. It is a realm devoid of pain and death, permeated by light and harmony. Reciting the phrase Namu Amida Butsu in invocation of Buddha Amida has become one of the most accessible methods of spiritual engagement. This straightforward yet heartfelt prayer has provided solace to millions. The narratives of Siddhartha and Amida illuminate two distinct spiritual paths within Buddhism. Siddhartha's life inspires us to seek truth, engage in self-cultivation, and deepen our understanding of the world. Amida's vows offer hope, reminding us that even amidst the most challenging circumstances, support and mercy are always available. These legends transcend mere historical accounts. They retain their relevance, emphasizing that life is a delicate balance between action and faith, between personal endeavor and trusting the broader forces at play. Following our exploration of Buddhism, an integral component of Japanese culture, let us now transition to a different, more enigmatic dimension, the realm of yokai. While Buddhism brought philosophy, compassion, and mindfulness to Japan, yokai introduced mysticism, a sense of awe, and boundless fantasy. Imagine a world where, behind every tree, in the shadow of every dwelling, or beneath the surface of a river, a mysterious entity might reside, not necessarily benevolent or malevolent, but simply unfathomable. This is the world of yokai, the supernatural beings of Japanese folklore. Yokai are more than just monsters or specters. They represent natural phenomena, human anxieties, folklore, and cautionary tales brought to life in the most extraordinary forms. The term yokai can be translated as mysterious phenomenon or supernatural creature, but its meaning extends far deeper. Yokai are spirits or beings that inhabit the natural world or exist parallel to our own. They can be benevolent, malevolent, or entirely indifferent, but they are consistently enigmatic. Their genesis is often linked to profound human experiences, both terrifying and deadly. What is the role of yokai? As archetypal figures in folklore, each yokai embodies human fears, beliefs, and our relationship with nature. They symbolize that which people sought to comprehend, but could not explain. Peculiar night sounds, inexplicable illnesses, turbulent rivers, or dense forests. To better grasp the concept of yokai, it's helpful to categorize them, as each plays a distinct role in Japanese mythology and culture. Indeed, among the yokai are those who actively avoid causing harm. They protect, assist, or simply infuse everyday life with a touch of enchantment. Jizo, for instance, occasionally categorized as a yokai, is a spirit or bodhisattva who aids children and travelers. Statues of Jizo are frequently found along pathways or near bridges. Then there are the neutral yokai, who harbor no ill intent, but do not always guarantee benevolent encounters. They exist in their own sphere, and as long as they are undisturbed, they will not interfere with humans. The tanuki, for example, are mischievous raccoon-like creatures capable of shape-shifting into humans or objects for playful trickery. While not malicious, they can cause considerable mischief, Another example is the Makura Gaishi, yokai that inhabit old paper screens. If there are any openings, they fill them with eyes that observe all that transpires around them. Finally, we have the malevolent yokai, beings that personify everything that instills fear in humanity. They represent death, illness, retribution, and the dread of the unknown. A prominent example of a malevolent yokai is the Rokurokubi. Among the most peculiar and memorable figures in Japanese mythology, these appear as ordinary women, indistinguishable from others. But at night, their true nature is revealed as their necks elongate to extraordinary lengths, enabling them to peer into windows, explore shadowy recesses, and observe unsuspecting individuals. This striking image has become one of the most iconic symbols of Japanese mythology. One legend recounts a man who suspected his wife of being a rokurokubi. One night, feigning sleep, he witnessed her neck stretching and moving around the room. Frightened, he fled the house but later returned, choosing to accept her peculiar nature. This tale illustrates that even among yokai, expressions of love and loyalty can exist. Another legend tells of a group of monks lodging in a house inhabited by a rokurokubi. One monk observed her neck elongating as she attempted to peer into their chambers. He recited a prayer, compelling the yokai to revert to her human form. Ashamed of her actions, she implored forgiveness. After our excursion into the world of yokai, it is fitting to focus on some of the most celebrated among them, those who have captivated imaginations for centuries. Foremost among these are the kitsune, foxes renowned not only for their cunning and intelligence, but also for their ability to assume human form. In Japanese folklore, these foxes are known as kitsune, esteemed for their beauty and their often deceptive nature. It is believed that kitsune are exceptional foxes possessing magical capabilities. The older a fox, the more tails it acquires, with the most potent kitsune boasting 9 tails that shimmer like moonlight. Their imagery embodies wisdom and power, yet also deceit and unpredictability. Kitsune are said to serve the deity Inari, the patron of rice and fertility. They are believed to bring good fortune, safeguard fields, and offer assistance during times of hardship. If a kitsune appears in your dreams or aids you in reality, it signifies that you are under protective watch. However, not all kitsune are so noble. Some are known to seduce men, leading them into misfortune. They possess the ability to manipulate human minds, conjuring illusions that are indistinguishable from reality. One particularly poignant story recounts a man who married a woman, unaware of her kitsune heritage. Their union was blissful, until one day he inadvertently witnessed her true form. Despite this revelation, her love for him remained unwavering. This narrative highlights the difficulty of accepting another's inherent nature, even in the presence of profound affection. In the dense Japanese forests and towering mountains, amidst silence and the eternal shade of ancient trees, dwell the Tengu. These spirits are depicted with wings and elongated noses, their imagery evolving over centuries. The Karasu Tengu, specifically, are mountain spirits, embodying strength and independence. They are often portrayed as avian-human hybrids with piercing eyes and prominent beaks or noses. They are regarded as masters of martial arts and mentors capable of imparting their knowledge to the worthy. Legend has it that the renowned swordsman Miyamoto Musashi learned from a Tengu, discovering that true strength stems not only from physical prowess, but also from mental clarity. Tengu fiercely protect their territories, and those who damage nature risk incurring their wrath. Conversely, they may offer protection to those who show respect for nature and seek their aid. While Tengu have evolved into more benevolent figures, in ancient legends, they were considered demons capable of abducting children or leading travelers astray. These tales served as warnings to individuals who ventured too far into the wilderness. If Kitsune and Tengu can exhibit positive traits, Oni represent pure menace. These demons embody fear, chaos, and retribution, symbolizing the darkest aspects of the human psyche. They are typically depicted as colossal humanoid beings, with red or immense fangs and a terrifying visage, often clad in animal skins, seemingly designed to inspire dread. They are associated with the underworld, where they punish sinners for their misdeeds. These are entities that remind humanity that every action has a consequence. They are said to reside in the afterlife or in other realms, sometimes sowing chaos. Occasionally, the lines between human and beast blur so significantly that historical figures become perceived as supernatural beings. Tawara Toda Hikozeman, or Sakanoe no Tamuramaro, for example, or even Hattori Hanzo, the ruler of Iga province, a legendary samurai and master ninja, renowned for his extraordinary strength and agility, was nicknamed Devil Hanzo. Some believed he possessed demonic powers due to his astonishing speed, making it seem as if he vanished into shadows. Each of these yokai is not merely a mythological character. They are reflections of human qualities, fears, and aspirations. Kitsune embodies cunning and magic. Tengu represents strength and wisdom. And Oni serve as a reminder of the repercussions of malevolent actions. Together, they construct a vivid and multifaceted tapestry of Japanese mythology, where good and evil do not always possess distinct boundaries. These creatures remind us that the world is replete with mysteries and enigmatic forces that elude complete comprehension, which is precisely what makes them so captivating and enduring. Japanese folklore is rich with narratives about spirits that have become deeply ingrained in the nation's cultural fabric. Yurei, while not explicitly detailed here, are Japanese spirits who are unable to find peace after death. Often, entities linger in the realm of the living due to intense sentiments, profound sorrow, or unresolved matters. Their spectral forms are commonly recognized by white attire, signifying a shroud, and cascades of long, dark hair. These apparitions might have undergone a rite of purification to transition to the afterlife. However, if a spirit remains tethered, perhaps having met a violent end, it can manifest as a yurei, saturated with anguish and regret. A celebrated narrative of a yurei centers on a woman named Ai. She was subjected to poison by her own spouse, who harbored intentions of wedding another. Her visage, ravaged by the venom, contorted in her death throes. Yet her spirit was so consumed by distress that it haunted her husband, appearing in his dreams as his new wife, a constant spectral presence in his mirror. Ultimately, the torment proved unbearable, driving him to madness. Ai's tragic tale achieved such renown that it has been immortalized in kabuki theater and contemporary horror films. Another chilling example is Okiku, a figure from one of the most unnerving urban legends concerning yurei. Having met her demise beneath a train, her body grotesquely bisected, she is said to roam train stations and deserted thoroughfares, querying unsuspecting individuals about the circumstances of her death. Should anyone fail to furnish the correct answers, Okiku claims their lives. This account serves as a poignant illustration of how age-old myths can evolve into modern folklore. The Nur-Ana, or wet woman, is a yokai intrinsically linked to bodies of water. Her appearance is striking in its duality, that of a beautiful woman with long raven hair, complemented by the sinuous and formidable lower body of a serpent. She frequently materializes along riverbanks or coastlines, drawing the attention of passers-by with her peculiar yet captivating allure. Numerous tales depict her as a siren-like entity, luring individuals into treacherous situations. The Nura-Ana might feign helplessness, imploring a traveler to assist her with a seemingly helpless infant. However, upon accepting the supposed baby, the unwitting helper discovers they are cradling a heavy stone, impossible to set down. While the victim is thus ensnared, the Nur-Ana strikes, draining their life force. One notable story recounts a fisherman who encountered the Nur-Ana by a river. She attempted to ensnare him, but he, demonstrating remarkable quick-wittedness, proposed a game of courtesies. Intrigued by his intelligence, she granted him passage. This narrative underscores the potent combination of astuteness and prudence in navigating perilous circumstances. Finally, the Kappa stands as one of the most widely recognized yokai. These diminutive humanoid beings possess features akin to turtles, with greenish skin and a distinctive depression atop their heads that holds water. This cranial reservoir is the source of a Kappa's strength. Should the water be spilled, the creature becomes significantly weakened. Kappa are known for their predatory nature, often dragging unsuspecting individuals into the water. They pose a particular threat to children, luring them towards rivers and lakes, and they are also notorious for their pilfering of cucumbers. Kappa have a strong affinity for cucumbers, and in some locales, a tradition persists wherein cucumbers are cast into the water as offerings to appease these spirits and deter them from harming people. Despite their playful and sometimes menacing demeanor, Kappa can exhibit gratitude. If outsmarted, for instance, by being tricked into bowing, which causes the water to spill from their heads, a Kappa can become indebted to the individual. In their indebtedness, they might share potent medicinal secrets or assist in resolving complex quandaries. On one occasion, a farmer apprehended a Kappa in the act of ruining his crops. Rather than resorting to punishment, the farmer proposed a pact. If the Kappa ceased its destructive behavior, the farmer would provide it with cucumbers. The Kappa readily agreed, and from that day forward, it diligently aided the farmer in irrigating his fields. This tale serves as a potent reminder that even the most unusual beings can become valuable allies. These enigmatic entities from Japanese folklore were never merely conjured monsters designed to frighten children. For the Japanese people, they have always represented something more profound, a connection between the natural world, the supernatural, and the spiritual cosmos. To truly comprehend the yokai, one must consider them through the lens of Shintoism, seeking a shared understanding with them. In Shintoism, the world is not simplistic. Mountains, rivers, and even stones can be the abodes of kami, divine spirits who embody the very essence of nature. Within this framework, yokai were understood as integral components of this grand cosmic order, intrinsic elements of nature deserving of reverence. Imagine a Kappa perched on a riverbank. To the Japanese, it was not merely a mischievous spirit capable of dragging someone into the water, but rather a guardian of that particular river. By showing respect for the water, perhaps by leaving an offering such as cucumbers. One might even garner assistance from the kappa. This represents a remarkable philosophy. Yokai do not simply instill fear, they serve as a reminder of the critical importance of living in harmony with the world around us. Kitsune, the foxes serving in the retinue of Inari, the deity of fertility, offer another illustrative example. These cunning and formidable foxes were far more than mere spiritual messengers. They performed vital duties, such as safeguarding shrines and bestowing blessings. While kitsune might engage in playful deception with humans, their actions were rooted in the understanding that the realms of spirits and humanity are intricately interconnected. The cycle of birth and death and the yokai began to be perceived as beings ensnared in this journey due to their own deeds. Remember, in Buddhist teachings, terrifying demons with horns torment sinners in the underworld. These are not merely monsters, but the tangible results of negative karma, serving as a constant reminder that our actions carry consequences that can pursue us even beyond the veil of death. This is the natural order of existence. Yurai, spirits with unfinished business, are, according to Buddhist principles, unable to proceed to the next plane of existence due to their inability to release powerful emotions such as anger, a desire for vengeance, or profound melancholy. Consequently, Buddhist monks would perform rituals to pacify these spirits, aiding them in finding peace and progressing to the subsequent stage of their journey. As we now understand, not all yokai were benevolent or neutral entities. Some posed a genuine peril, prompting people to seek protective measures. This is where the traditions of Shintoism and Buddhism provided invaluable tools for confronting the inexplicable. For instance, salt was employed as a potent agent of purification. It was not only scattered at doorways to ward off malevolent spirits, but also utilized in cleansing ceremonies. Have you ever observed the practice of placing small mounds of salt before meals in Japanese rituals? This is a remnant of this ancient custom. Consider also sacred mirrors. In Shintoism, a mirror symbolizes purity and truth. It was believed that an evil spirit would recoil upon witnessing its own reflection, leading to its departure. Mirrors continue to be employed in certain temples. Sacred artifacts were also integral to these practices. Amulets, known as mamori, could be procured at temples. Each amulet was meticulously crafted for a specific purpose: protection against evil spirits, the attraction of good fortune, or even academic assistance. However, a deeper significance lay behind them. The amulet served not merely as a shield, but as a constant reminder that an individual was under the guardianship of higher powers. Paper talismans, affixed to doors or windows to repel yokai, bore inscribed prayers or sacred symbols. The convergence of yokai with Shintoism and Buddhism reveals a remarkable truth. The Japanese have never viewed the supernatural as something alien to their existence. The spirit world and the human world are one unified reality, wherein supreme beings are interconnected. While there might be instances of deception or aggression, their actions invariably possessed an underlying logic. If one treats nature and fellow beings with respect, the spirit realm is likely to be benevolent. This philosophy remains vibrant today, with people continuing to visit temples, acquire amulets, and partake in purification rituals. Even in our technologically advanced modern era, the Japanese have not forgotten their connection to something greater than themselves. And perhaps This is the very essence of their unique culture. Japanese mythology and folklore are intricately woven with the profound traditions of Shintoism, the world of yokai, creatures that personify human fears, emotions, and our intrinsic link to nature. From the astute kitsune and the formidable oni to the enigmatic yurei and the ubiquitous kappa, each yokai offers a distinct lesson, reminding us that the world is rife with mysteries and that achieving harmony with our surroundings necessitates reverence for all that encompasses us. Rituals, amulets, and shrines serve not merely as protective measures, but as conduits for cultivating relationships with these entities. These traditions, deeply rooted in Shintoism and Buddhism, continue to thrive, preserving the Japanese connection to their rich heritage. Thank you for dedicating your time to this lecture. I trust that this exploration into the realm of Japanese mythology has proven both fascinating and inspiring. If you found it engaging, please feel free to share your thoughts and pose any questions. I am always eager to continue discussions on such mystical and profound subjects. Until our next encounter.